What if the habit you were warned about your entire life, the one whispered with shame in locker rooms and silenced in conversations at the dinner table, was actually protecting one of the most fragile organs in your body? Many men over 60 quietly wonder if daily masturbation harms the prostate, drains energy, or even fuels cancer. These fears are not small, and for years they have left countless men anxious and uncertain. But what if the truth, uncovered by leading universities and backed by science, revealed the complete opposite? The prostate is not a passive gland. It is a living system that depends on rhythm, cleansing, and balance. Modern research, including a massive Harvard study that followed thousands of men for nearly 2 decades, shows that frequent ejaculation may act as a powerful defense, lowering the risk of prostate disease and even easing the everyday discomforts that steal sleep and confidence. In the next few minutes, you will discover why this simple act could be one of the most natural allies for your long-term health. And if you stay with me until the very end, I will share the single insight that has changed the way doctors talk about prostate care forever. The prostate, the silent hero. The prostate is a small gland, about the size of a walnut, yet it plays an extraordinary role in a man's life. Positioned just below the bladder and in front of the rectum, it produces the fluid that nourishes and transports sperm, making it essential for fertility and sexual health. As men age, this tiny organ becomes even more important because it influences not only reproduction, but also urinary control, sleep quality, and overall comfort in daily living. When the prostate is healthy, most men hardly notice it, but when problems arise, it can disrupt every part of life. Researchers from the National Institutes of Health emphasize that prostate health is closely tied to aging, with conditions like benign prostatic hyperplasia and prostatitis affecting nearly half of men over 60. These conditions may not be life-threatening at first, but they can cause frequent urination, weak urine flow, and even pain, creating stress that slowly drains energy and confidence. The fact that such a small gland can influence so many aspects of vitality shows why it deserves more attention and care than it usually receives. By understanding the prostate as a silent hero rather than a hidden weakness, men can begin to see self-care in a new light. Supporting this gland through healthy habits, balanced hormones, and regular release is not shameful. It is an act of responsibility toward one's body. And here is where the story becomes even more intriguing, because the greatest threat to the prostate may not come from overuse, as many fear, but from long-standing myths that have shaped men's beliefs for generations. Let us now uncover those myths and see what the science actually tells us. Dangerous myths about masturbation. For generations, men have been told that masturbation is harmful, that too much of it weakens the body, drains energy, or even damages the prostate. These ideas often came from cultural or religious beliefs rather than science, and over time they created a heavy sense of shame. Many older men still carry the fear that frequent release might wear out the prostate or accelerate the decline of sexual health. This is understandable because when people hear the word cancer or inflammation, they naturally associate risk with habits that feel private or unspoken. One of the most common myths is that masturbation causes prostatitis, or chronic inflammation of the prostate. While it is true that prostatitis can bring discomfort and urinary problems, there is no scientific evidence showing that masturbation is the cause. In fact, studies suggest the opposite, that regular ejaculation may help prevent congestion in the prostate and reduce the very inflammation men fear. Another widespread belief is that masturbation increases the chance of prostate cancer, but multiple studies, including large-scale research published by Harvard, have shown a significant protective effect instead. Men who ejaculate more frequently have been found to lower their risk, not raise it. There is also the idea that frequent masturbation weakens masculinity or lowers testosterone. This myth often comes from the feeling of temporary tiredness after release, which some interpret as long-term harm. In reality, the body quickly restores balance, and testosterone levels are not permanently reduced by normal sexual activity. On the contrary, sexual activity can help maintain hormonal rhythm, improve mood, and support overall vitality. The sense of weakness many men describe is often psychological, reinforced by years of being told the act was shameful, rather than a true reflection of biology. These myths have caused countless men to suffer in silence, avoiding natural behaviors that could actually benefit their health. They create unnecessary guilt, discourage men from listening to their bodies, and sometimes even worsen medical conditions by promoting inactivity. When men believe they should suppress their sexuality, the result is often stress, poor sleep, or even more severe urinary symptoms linked to stagnation in the prostate. In this way, the fear of doing harm ends up creating the very problems it was meant to avoid. By gently separating fact from fiction, we can begin to see masturbation not as a dangerous habit, but as a natural biological process. Science reminds us that the prostate is designed to produce and release fluid regularly, and when that cycle is respected, the gland functions more smoothly. Instead of fueling shame, knowledge empowers men to take ownership of their health without fear. As we move into the next part, you will see how groundbreaking research has completely changed the conversation, offering clear proof that the truth about daily ejaculation is not one of risk, but of surprising protection. Groundbreaking scientific evidence from Harvard. For many years, the myths surrounding masturbation and prostate health remained largely unchallenged. Men whispered to one another about possible dangers, and most doctors avoided the subject unless asked directly. But in the late 1990s, researchers at Harvard University decided it was time to replace guesswork with facts. They launched one of the largest and longest studies ever conducted on men's health, specifically looking at how ejaculation frequency might influence the risk of prostate cancer. This study, published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, followed nearly 32,000 men over an 18-year period. That scale alone makes it extraordinary, because very few studies in medicine can observe such a large group for such a long time. The researchers asked participants about their lifestyle, their diet, their exercise habits, and most importantly, how often they ejaculated each month. By carefully tracking these men, they were able to see patterns that smaller studies would never reveal. The results were nothing short of shocking. Contrary to the fears many men had carried for generations, the data showed that higher frequency of ejaculation was linked to a lower risk of prostate cancer. Specifically, men who ejaculated 21 times or more per month had up to a 33% reduced risk of developing prostate cancer, compared with men who ejaculated only 4 to 7 times per month. This was not a small difference. It was a clear and significant protective effect that could not be ignored. What makes this study so powerful is that it controlled for other factors that might influence cancer risk. The researchers accounted for things like diet, physical activity, smoking, and family history, yet the protective link between frequent ejaculation and prostate health remained. That means the finding was not just a coincidence, but a consistent pattern that stood up to scientific scrutiny. To add even more credibility, later studies, including one from Australia, confirmed the same protective connection, reinforcing the idea that regular release plays a real role in prostate health. To understand why, it helps to think of the prostate as a gland that needs to be regularly flushed, much like pipes in a house. If fluid sits too long, it can allow harmful substances to accumulate and irritate the tissue. Regular ejaculation, whether through sex or masturbation, clears out this buildup, reduces stagnation, and promotes a healthier environment in the gland. Scientists call this the prostate stagnation hypothesis, and it remains one of the most widely accepted explanations for the protective effect observed. Another explanation relates to cellular turnover. Every time cells divide, there is a small risk of DNA error that could lead to cancer over time. By encouraging the prostate to renew itself more often through ejaculation, the body may reduce the chances of harmful mutations taking hold. Combined with the stress relief and lowered inflammation that often follows orgasm, the overall effect becomes a strong natural defense for the prostate. What this means for men today is both simple and empowering. Masturbation, far from being a risky or shameful behavior, may actually be one of the easiest tools you have to protect yourself against one of the most common male cancers. Harvard's findings remind us that health is not always about complex treatments or expensive interventions. Sometimes it is about respecting the body's natural design and allowing it to function the way it was meant to. As we move to the next part, we will take a closer look at the biological mechanisms behind this discovery, so you can clearly see why such a simple act carries such profound benefits. 3 biological mechanisms that explain the benefits. When scientists first observed that frequent ejaculation was linked to a lower risk of prostate cancer, the next important question was why? How could something so natural and often misunderstood create such a measurable protective effect? Over the years, researchers have explored several explanations, and while the full picture is still developing, 3 main biological mechanisms stand out. Each one is supported by studies and makes sense when we look at how the prostate and the body function day by day. The first explanation is called the prostate stagnation hypothesis. To understand this, think of the prostate as a small but busy factory that constantly produces fluid. This fluid, which forms part of semen, is meant to be released regularly. When it builds up and sits for long periods, waste products, toxins, or even potential carcinogens may accumulate inside the gland. Over time, this stagnation can irritate tissue, cause low-grade inflammation, and create an unhealthy environment where abnormal cells are more likely to grow. Regular ejaculation acts like flushing the system, clearing out old fluid and refreshing the environment. Just as running water through pipes keeps them clean, ejaculation helps keep the prostate healthier by preventing congestion and buildup. This idea is not just theory, it is supported by epidemiological research showing that men with more frequent release report fewer prostate-related complaints and a lower risk of disease. The second mechanism focuses on cellular turnover and DNA integrity. Every cell in the body has a limited lifespan and must be replaced. During the process of cell division, there is always a chance for small genetic errors, which scientists call mutations. If too many damaged cells remain in the prostate, the risk of abnormal growth or cancer increases. Frequent ejaculation may promote a healthier rhythm of cell renewal, encouraging the prostate to shed older cells and replace them with newer, healthier ones. By doing so, the body reduces the opportunity for harmful mutations to accumulate. It is similar to regularly pruning a tree to prevent dead branches from weakening the whole structure. Research in molecular biology supports the idea that regular stimulation and release keep tissues in a more active, balanced state, lowering long-term risks. The third explanation relates to stress reduction and the impact of inflammation. Modern medicine recognizes that chronic inflammation is one of the major drivers of many diseases, including cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. Prolonged psychological stress increases cortisol, a hormone that fuels inflammation in the body. Ejaculation and orgasm trigger the release of calming hormones such as oxytocin and endorphins, which lower cortisol and help reduce tension. This shift creates a healthier internal environment, with less stress-related inflammation affecting the prostate and the rest of the body. In addition, improved sleep quality after orgasm further supports the immune system and tissue repair, both of which are vital in preventing disease. Clinical studies have shown that men who maintain a healthy sexual life often report better mood, lower stress levels, and fewer inflammatory conditions compared to men who are sexually inactive. When we put these three mechanisms together, the picture becomes clear. Regular ejaculation does not harm the prostate, as old myths once suggested, but instead supports its function through cleansing, renewal, and reducing inflammation. Each pathway contributes in its own way, and together they form a powerful system of natural protection. What is most encouraging is that this protection comes from within, relying not on medication or costly treatments, but on the body's own design. And the benefits do not stop with long-term cancer prevention, because the same biological processes that protect your prostate also bring relief to the everyday urinary and sleep problems many older men struggle with. In the next part, we will explore these immediate benefits, the ones you can actually feel in your daily life, and they may surprise you even more than the science itself. Immediate benefits beyond cancer prevention. While the Harvard study focused on the long-term connection between ejaculation frequency and prostate cancer risk, the benefits of regular release are not limited to distant decades. Many men, especially after 60, are more concerned with the frustrations they face each day. Restless nights, the constant need to get up and urinate, the weak urine stream that leaves them feeling unfinished, or the dull pelvic pressure that lingers quietly in the background. These daily struggles can slowly erode quality of life, yet what most men do not realize is that something as natural as ejaculation can bring meaningful relief in ways that are both simple and scientifically grounded. One of the clearest immediate benefits relates to urinary symptoms. The prostate surrounds the urethra, the small tube that carries urine from the bladder out of the body. When fluid builds up and the gland becomes congested, it can swell slightly and press on that tube, making it harder for urine to pass. This leads to weak flow, dribbling, or the sensation that the bladder never fully empties. By releasing fluid regularly, the pressure inside the gland decreases, helping restore smoother flow and reducing nighttime awakenings. A clinical observation published in the journal Urology noted that men with more frequent ejaculation often reported less urinary discomfort, highlighting how this simple act can make everyday life more manageable. Another immediate benefit comes from the relaxation response that follows orgasm. During climax, the body experiences a natural release of hormones such as oxytocin, prolactin, and endorphins. These chemicals calm the nervous system, lower blood pressure, and signal the body to move into a state of rest. That is why many men find they sleep more deeply and wake up feeling more refreshed after sexual activity. For older adults who often struggle with fragmented sleep, this natural aid can be invaluable. Better sleep not only restores energy, but also strengthens the immune system, supports memory, and improves emotional resilience. It is no exaggeration to say that a good night's rest is one of the most powerful forms of medicine, and ejaculation can help unlock it. Emotional health is also closely tied to this process. Feelings of frustration, anxiety, or even low mood are common when men live with ongoing urinary symptoms or declining sexual vitality. Regular release provides a natural mood lift by increasing dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, and reducing cortisol, the main stress hormone. This combination fosters a sense of balance and connection, even when a man is alone. Many patients in their 60s and 70s have shared that after resuming a healthy pattern of masturbation, they felt less irritable, more optimistic, and more motivated to engage with life again. Science supports these experiences, as numerous studies have shown that sexual activity is associated with lower rates of depression and improved quality of life in older adults. There is also an overlooked benefit related to circulation and pelvic muscle function. The rhythmic contractions that occur during orgasm act as a natural exercise for the pelvic floor, strengthening muscles that support bladder control and erectile function. This gentle workout helps maintain tone and coordination in an area that often weakens with age and prolonged sitting. Better circulation to the pelvis also nourishes tissues, keeping them healthier and more responsive. For men who fear losing control or struggling with embarrassing leaks, this hidden benefit can provide a sense of reassurance and dignity. When viewed together, these immediate effects create a powerful message. Masturbation is not simply about preventing cancer many years from now, but about feeling better today. It can help reduce the nightly bathroom trips that rob men of rest, ease the pressure and discomfort that interfere with daily comfort, lift mood when stress feels heavy, and even strengthen the muscles that support continence and intimacy. These are not abstract benefits. They are improvements a man can notice in his own body within days or weeks of returning to a healthier rhythm. The most important point is that these outcomes do not require complicated routines or expensive treatments. They come from respecting the natural design of the body and allowing it to function as intended. By letting go of shame and embracing this simple habit, men can reclaim not only their physical comfort, but also their sense of control over aging. And as we transition to the next part, we will see how these immediate benefits connect to a larger lifestyle picture, showing that daily ejaculation is only one piece of a bigger strategy for long-term prostate health and overall vitality. The bigger picture, not a magic bullet. By now it is clear that frequent ejaculation, whether through sex or masturbation, offers both long-term protection and immediate comfort for the prostate. Yet it is important to be honest and realistic, because no single habit, no matter how beneficial, can serve as a complete shield against disease. The Harvard study revealed a strong and encouraging correlation, but correlation is not the same as absolute prevention. Prostate cancer, benign enlargement, and inflammation are influenced by many factors, including age, genetics, environment, and lifestyle. This means masturbation is a valuable tool, but it is only one tool among many that men need to use wisely. Diet is one of the most important parts of the larger picture. Research from the Mayo Clinic and the American Cancer Society consistently shows that men who consume diets rich in fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats tend to have better prostate outcomes. Foods high in lycopene, such as tomatoes, watermelon, and pink grapefruit, are linked to a lower risk of prostate problems, while cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts provide compounds that help detoxify harmful substances in the body. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish like salmon or mackerel support heart health and may also play a role in reducing inflammation in the prostate. These dietary habits create a protective environment that works hand in hand with the benefits of regular ejaculation. Physical activity is another essential piece of the puzzle. Obesity and sedentary living are strongly associated with more aggressive forms of prostate disease. Even 30 minutes of brisk walking or light exercise most days of the week can lower inflammation, improve circulation, and help balance hormones. Exercise also reduces insulin resistance, a factor connected to both cancer and cardiovascular disease, which are common concerns for men as they age. For men over 60, combining physical activity with regular ejaculation supports both the gland itself and the entire body's vitality. Avoiding harmful habits is equally critical. Smoking has been directly linked to more aggressive prostate cancers and poorer recovery outcomes. Excessive alcohol not only stresses the liver, but also raises inflammation, adding unnecessary burden to the prostate and other organs. Cutting back on these risk factors or eliminating them entirely gives the body a much stronger foundation to heal and protect itself. Perhaps the most powerful step men can take, beyond lifestyle, is to remain proactive with medical care. Regular checkups with a trusted physician allow problems to be caught early when they are most treatable. The prostate-specific antigen, PSA test, while not perfect, remains a valuable tool for early detection when used thoughtfully and in consultation with a doctor. Men with a family history of prostate cancer should be especially vigilant, as genetics play a significant role in risk. By combining natural practices like masturbation with professional medical guidance, men can take full control of their prostate health in a way that is both empowering and responsible. When you bring all these elements together, healthy diet, consistent exercise, avoidance of harmful habits, medical vigilance, and yes, regular ejaculation, the result is a balanced and sustainable approach to health. This broader perspective encourages men not to rely on any one strategy as a cure-all, but to embrace a lifestyle that supports both the prostate and the entire body. It is this synergy that creates lasting vitality, allowing men not just to live longer, but to live with more comfort, confidence, and independence. And as we prepare to move into the final part, it is time to tie all these insights together, reminding ourselves that caring for the prostate is ultimately about more than biology. It is about honoring life itself and preserving the freedom to enjoy it fully. When we step back and look at everything together, the message becomes both simple and powerful. For decades, men were told that masturbation could harm the prostate, drain strength, or even increase the risk of cancer. Yet the science has revealed the opposite. Research from Harvard and other respected institutions shows that regular ejaculation supports prostate health by flushing out stagnation, encouraging healthy cell renewal, and lowering inflammation and stress. Beyond long-term cancer prevention, it also helps reduce urinary discomfort, improve sleep, and strengthens emotional balance, benefits that many men can feel in their daily lives. The most important lesson is that masturbation is not something to fear or feel ashamed of, but rather a natural part of self-care. When combined with a healthy diet, regular exercise, and proactive medical checkups, it becomes one piece of a complete strategy for protecting both prostate health and overall vitality. Caring for this small gland is not about obsession with disease, but about preserving quality of life, independence, and peace of mind as the years move forward. So if you have ever doubted whether this simple act was safe, let science and compassion reassure you that it can be a quiet ally on your journey to better health. If you found value in this message, please support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and turning on the notification bell so you never miss future insights. Share this with someone who may need the encouragement, and leave a comment below about what surprised you most today. Your story may inspire another man to embrace his health with courage and confidence.